My name is Jack Rome, and I'm glad to welcome you to Meet the Speaker, a series with speakers from the upcoming 3-day online immersive conference, The Infinite I Am, Awakening Beyond Identity in a World on Fire, taking place from November 14th to 16th. This series is designed to give you a brief taste of the direct experience that you can expect from each session during the conference. Keith Kavanagh is a non-dual teacher of A Course in Miracles, a podcaster, and a coach. Keith's 30-plus year journey with A Course in Miracles deepened after overcoming long years of generalized anxiety disorder, leading to a profound awakening. He now shares his insights through a Facebook group, YouTube channel, podcast, and private mentoring. And I should mention, the podcast is A Course in Miracles with Keith, and it's amazing. I am definitely a fan and a student of it. Keith's conference session is titled, I Am, the Mechanism of Unbinding and the Gateway to Eternity. So, Keith, welcome. Thanks again so much for joining us. And with the brief time that we have today to give a taste, could you give a taste by perhaps encapsulating some of the essence of the teaching, maybe by starting with what you mean by I am as this mechanism of unbinding?
Thanks so much, Jack. It's great to be with you. Um, okay. In A Course in Miracles, we know that it seems as though something we call consciousness separated from the absolute. And it seems as though consciousness has has started to appear as a world. Okay, so we'll leave out some of the steps. Let's call it 2 steps into damnation. Um, into eternity, where all is one, non-duality. They trapped a tiny mad idea of otherness, self and other, which was originally me, consciousness, and God. And consciousness then became split. And there is wrong-minded consciousness and there's right-minded consciousness. And wrong-minded consciousness is consciousness identified with objects of itself. And right-minded consciousness is consciousness unidentified. Um, so wrong-minded consciousness is what we have to correct. And we do that, this illusory, wrong-minded consciousness, we correct it with another illusion, which is right-minded consciousness. Um, and so I love this subject matter of I am for the conference this year, because I am is another way of describing the right mind. And the only purpose of the right mind is to undo the wrong mind. And that is the mechanism of unbinding. And with the wrong mind undone, its cure, the imaginary cure for the imaginary sickness of separateness, is no longer required, and it falls away. And all that's left is the absolute, which some paths would call anatta, or no self. So we're moving up the ladder that we fell down. And so we shift our identification from body, physical, psychological body, mind. We shift our identification from that to consciousness. That's our first step. And we put our attention on that in the midst of the mind's madness, which undoes identification with the mind's madness. And then the wrong mind itself falls away, the right mind itself falls away, and all that's left is the absolute, is God, is non-duality. So I love that Nisargadatta Maharaj, who is, one of the most famous of all the non-dual teachers. I mean, I love his teachings. I love the way they correlate perfectly with A Course in Miracles. But, his guru told him that he was to go back to the state of being before the mind identified with I am this or I am that. Just beingness. And to trust that he was the supreme reality. So no matter what his thoughts and emotions were up to, his guru instructed him that he was to put all his attention on I am in the midst of that. And so he said he believed his guru. He did what his guru told him. And after 3 years, he realized the absolute, which I think is awesome. A Course in Miracles says the exact same thing in a different way. It says the other way, which is A Course in Miracles, which is what Nisargadatta Maharaj's guru taught him. The other way is remaining quiet, even in the midst of the turmoil you may make. Um, and so this is the other way. This is what Nisargadatta's guru was instructing him to do, and this is what A Course in Miracles is instructing us to do. And it gives us this beautiful way to return to I am, even in the midst of the turmoil. It says you can know peace in the midst of whatever madness your ego's up to. Because, the mind is split until it's not. And so the Course calls it forgiveness, which, is a very misunderstood term, even among course students, but perhaps for non-duality students, it might be even more so to hear it at a non-duality conference. So maybe a little definition of forgiveness from A Course in Miracles. Forgiveness is still, and it quietly does nothing. It offends no aspect of reality, nor does it seek to twist it to appearances it likes. It merely looks and waits and judges nothing. So that's a very different idea of forgiveness than we have from our Christian upbringings. This is what forgiveness is. So forgiveness is the means of disidentifying from the wild illusion mind, to know the right mind, to know I am, to know the quiet in the midst of the turmoil. No matter what thought patterns, um, egoic patterns are playing in the mind, because they're there and they've all got to be seen. There's no way you can spiritually bypass it. But that can all be seen from perfect peace. And that is what our forgiveness process is about. It is this ability to have a portal from misidentification from the wrong mind to the right mind. And the mechanism of that is witnessing the wrong mind. So forgiveness is still. So we're still about what the wrong mind is doing. And it's doing nothing about the wrong mind. It's witnessing these ego patterns, okay, and doing nothing about them. It's allowing them to arise. It's allowing emotions to arise. Nothing is spiritually bypassed. Okay, everything is allowed to be here and to get seen. And it offends no aspect of reality. It's not going, oh, I shouldn't have thoughts like these. These are very bad thoughts. I'm a course student. I should have holy thoughts. That's not what forgiveness does. That's what the ego does when it wants to be holy. Nor does it seek to twist it to appearances it likes. Here's one everyone stumbles into for a good period of time as a course student. Everyone's like, oh, I have to do forgiveness to get rid of the bad emotions. I have to stop them. I don't want to have sadness. I don't want to see sadness. I want to have holiness and happiness and sun shining out of orifices, you see? And that's spiritual bypassing, and forgiveness doesn't do that. So it's doing nothing, literally doing nothing. It's an end to what we have been doing, which is pushing and pulling and shifting and trying to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. And forgiveness is no, stop. Be still. Do nothing. Offend no aspect of what this moment is appearing at. Don't seek to twist it to anything your ego likes. Just look, wait, and judge nothing. And the ego can't do that. The wrong mind can't do that. And so this beautiful realization of the forgiveness formula is what observes the ego without judgment. The thing that can only judge can't be the thing that can only judge. It is I am. It is awareness. It is presence. These are just words. But it is that which no thought can touch. It is that which no thought has conditioned. It is what the Course calls the holy place where thoughts can enter not. And it is here in the midst of the thoughts. So, this stillness we're talking about isn't the stillness of the world or the mind. It is the stillness when none of it is fought with, when there's no agenda. The Course says, what can frighten me when I let all things be exactly as they are? And the truth is that this grace makes itself known. This oasis in the midst of the desert of the ego thought system makes itself known. This awake, alive, non-conceptually intelligent nothing, which is everything, makes an appearance when the fight with experience stops. And it's here in the midst of experience. I say to students all the time, if you're going, oh, I will be peaceful when this sadness passes, that's a ridiculously bad peace. That's not the peace of God. Okay? That's not the peace which surpasses all understanding. The peace that surpasses all understanding is the peace that's here in the midst of the sadness, in the midst of the grief, in the midst of the happiness, in the midst of the excitement, in the midst of whatever this moment is appearing as. Peace is here when experience isn't judged. When I let go of the fight and the agenda and the pushing and the pulling, the Course goes, the miracle comes quietly into the mind that stops an instant and is still. And that's not talking about the insane voice talking to itself, because that's not you. But the miracle comes quietly into the mind that stops trying to fix and change the wrong mind. And in that stopping, the unthinkable, the unspeakable, the unsayable is here, the right mind, which is the truth of everything and everyone. And we get to share an identity with our brother. And that's the message of A Course in Miracles. Did I waffle too much, Josh? Always a mistake to give me a free rein.
No, no. Well, maybe I'm a little biased, but I'm ready to give you the free rein because, I have since last year, for anybody tuning in that hadn't seen last year's, we did a Meet the Speaker session last year, and since then, after getting introduced to you, I've been very fortunate to learn so much from your podcasts. And, obviously it's a podcast like on podcast websites, but they're also on YouTube, so you can watch you go through it and answer questions as well too,
Mhm.
which is wonderful. So I'm very grateful, and I know any of the students watching and maybe people that, I can only imagine if imagine somebody first hears of A Course in Miracles through your teachings, which obviously are Ken Wapnick was your teacher as well, so it's a
For
beautiful
sure.
lineage. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for it. Thank you so much for taking us through that. I could talk to you for a lot longer, but as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm going to be hosting your conference session. So if anybody's
We're gonna
interested,
have
you can
fun.
come back
We're gonna
and
have fun.
yeah, yeah, we are definitely going to have fun. So wonderful. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. We really, really hope that you'll join us at the Infinite I Am conference from November 14th to 16th for more direct experience teaching, more just like this. And you can actually register for free at purepresenceconferences.com. So thank you so much and take care, everybody. Thank you, Keith.